everybody. It's 9:47 here in Cape Town, and there's not even any lead-in on this. Usually there's the music, and some waves and then the logo, but that's on YouTube, and we're still not linked into YouTube at the moment. But we should be by tomorrow, and I just saw the signal drop right down then, so hopefully you're still getting this. The reason for that is that Rob, our digital manager, is here. He flew in from the UK today, late this afternoon, and we were all in the office having big meetings, but he's flat out, and tomorrow he'll catch up on this, and we should be back on track with exactly the process we used to have before. So, and then we'll probably adopt a similar timeline as previously. I've been absolutely flat out today trying to sort out bits which you don't need to know about. But there's so much going on the tracker. As soon as I opened it up, I thought we need to explain what's going on again, because it looks like the line on us winner may turn up here on Friday the 20th, end of this week. So we've got a few things to do before then. In fact, we were all saying it was kind of lucky that the boats are a little bit delayed, because we thought the first boat would arrive today. But there's a few challenges that still face to get the first boat home. So it gives us a bit of breathing space to get organised. And we'll be happy to see people turn up. If you're watching this in Cape Town in replay, first boat could be in on Friday, and we'll be updating things then. Yeah, g'day, Doc Frisbee. Yes, I'm feeling a little better. I'm still there, but Ada might be coming down with something, and Rob's a bit worried because he said he had people coughing all over him in the plane and lots of stuff anyway. So all is good. So I'm here just to give you this rundown on exactly what's happening, and there's some good stuff happening, quite exciting things. So sorry it's not on time for the usual morning session for people that like to watch it live, but we figure at the moment there's so much going on establishing. I'd rather get something up now than just leave it till tomorrow morning. I won't do another one in the morning tomorrow, and we're busy all afternoon, so it could be another tomorrow night deal before I get back, but at least you can see what's happening here. And this, of course, is the real interesting stuff down the bottom here with the leaders. So we'll head to the back of the fleet first and see what goes. Godspeed following up the rear, 6.5 knots. They're pretty happy with that. They'd have to be, and they're coming back to a little bit more of an original course, tacking down, and at least they're making good speed. As a by the way, there might be a crew spot coming up on Godspeed. There could be some sailors here. If that's the case, we'll let you know, and they may be looking for crew. So anyway, we'll see by the time they get to Cape Town. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. Evrika's slowly coming around. This is really good news for them, because they've been holding pretty much on port tack. Excuse me. And the wind has swung around more to the east of southeast, and that's allowing them to slowly bring their course around more towards Cape Town. So that's not too bad. Depends on where they end up with all this, of course. Time will tell. Outlaw, again, they're not actually going to head. They're not going. Something's different here. This wind graphic is not quite right, obviously, because they can't be heading straight into the wind, which it shows. But nonetheless, it looks quite serious. Seriously holding high. That's pretty obvious, and their speed's suggesting that as well. They're only doing 4.6. So there's a few patches of orange down the bottom here, but that could be pretty solid. 25 knots to 30, 25, 28 knots. I'd say it's more 20, 25, but that's the true wind and apparent wind. If they're making 5 knots into it, that puts it up to the apparent wind being sort of 25 to 30 across the deck. So maybe that's part of it as well, but at least they're managing to hold high and head direct towards Cape Town as well. So that's the deal there. Still no news on Explorer. I didn't read the tweets, but Jane was telling me Explorer's saying they've managed to recover some of the items that they lost previously, in that statement. And we don't know what it meant. It was water ingress that cooked the fuse, and they lost a lot of their gear, electrical gear that was unable to be used. But for now, they're actually not heading a really good course, because they're pulling away again. This breeze has sprung around behind them, but all I can think of is it must be slow and light winds, so they're tacking downwind or something. But anyway, Cape Town's over this way, so that's pretty interesting. currently doing 3.8 knots, 111 miles in the last 24 hours. But at least they're sort of heading in the right direction. So that's cool. We'll come back to all of them in a minute. I'll just scramble these rear ones. 6 knots for Sterna. That's doing okay. Big issues on board there with their rigging. They must be squeezing hard on their clacker valves at the moment. They've just lost 2 pieces of rigging with swage failures. That was all replaced in Cape Town a year ago. We were here when they restepped the rig. It was all brand new, and all they've done is sailed from Cape Town up to Europe, make the start, and head back to Cape Town again. And that rigging shouldn't be failing under those situations. So there's something wrong. And the issue now for Sterna will be to determine what are they going to do. First of all, they don't have a lot of time. Yes, they could replace the wires that have now failed, but what's the integrity of the wires that remain? So that would be seriously on their mind at the moment. So another interesting point, we were laughing a bit. I mean, it's a real story and it's a real concern for them. I'm sure it'll work out okay at the end of the day. But it's their riggers will no doubt be seeing their tweets and their photos, so they'll be scratching their head too, thinking, what do we do? But nonetheless, they're still making time, six knots, all heading in the right direction, so that's better than some right now. And White Shadow is doing 6.3 knots, 109 in the last 24 hours, so that's okay. And Galliana has really kicked over into no man's land here. They wouldn't know this, but at least the trough is, excuse me, has closed up a bit, and they've been able to make the most of that with breeze, but it's hit. And even though this ridge is showing as if this southeasterly is at this level, it looks clear to me that it actually kicked in a bit higher, and they've been on this strong headwinds, basically, not what they want to see. They've dipped over to the high beneath them. But before we go too much into that, too much further, I'll come back and we'll do a two-day quick grab. I'm going to leave Godspeed out of this because I want it to be reasonably big, and they're in the trades, and it's not going to change much in the next couple of days for them. So here we go with a quick grab at the changes in weather. Just watch what's happening here to Galliana. That all moved away. They're going to go slow for a bit, but they lose the headwinds. Maybe depends how far they follow it down. It's very confusing for them. That's not a good thing. Just gets lighter for Sterna, but at least it's coming from the right direction, so they can hold that. And White Shadow's the same. They'll keep moving. Explorer, not much wind. They're going into nothing. This is just in the next 6 hours or so. No, that's 24 hours. Sorry, nearly 24 hours. So I'm just clicking through. So there goes 24 hours, really opening up to a big hole there. And when Explorer finally gets the breeze, it's going to be on the nose. So that's going to slow them up even more. Evrika and Outlaw looking extremely good because, as we said last night, the breeze is slowing down and it's swinging around. Evrika will be loving this. When it's like this, they'll be heading straight for Cape Town in light to moderate headwinds or light headwinds. So they'll still sail quite well and they'll be enjoying the ride and thinking, oh, keep it lasting. Not sure whether they get in the forecast, but that's looking good. That's a day and a half away. So they'll cover some ground on that. I'll just keep pushing it through. And you can see Outlaw's the same. It's exactly what they want. They want the light breezes on the nose. So that'll get them, allow them to cut the corner a bit. A big mishmash over here, but generally they've all pretty quickly got wind in the right direction, even Galliana. So they've got a day or so of rubbish, and then everyone here in the fleet should be on the move. So that's the next couple of days for the back bearers. So let's go back to real time now and continue with the middle fleet. Okay, you can see, in fact, I'm just going to have a picture of the weather here and just explain what's happening. This is actually the center of a high here, right? Even though it doesn't have a bottom, it's the top of a high. You can see it rolling around there and it disappears here. So there's the high, but it's got no bottom bit. And the reason it's got no bottom bit because this is another high forming up underneath and it's going around in counterclockwise. So this is effectively the top of the high. Now, Galliano, Tapio knows his stuff. He'll pick that as soon as he rolls over into these headwinds because the barometer will be going up, into a different gradient, and he'll say, we're on top of now a high below them, and there's nowhere they can go. They just got to hold that until something happens. So that's the main one, and we had this big trough coming through here for the leaders, and that's now closing up. So we'll get into that in a minute, but that's effectively what's affecting the affecting the middle group here. And I'm just the best scale is right there, I think. So Neptune's been passed by Triana pretty convincingly, but they're still doing 5 knots there. And we've got 5.3 knots from Triana. So just a little bit faster, but they're on the edge of no wind. And in fact, Jean just rang me a minute ago because we just needed some authorities to check their satellite account. We're checking all of the boats, by the way, all of those satellite systems. We have forensic analysis. Lutz is going through it right now to make sure that everything is being operated in an appropriate way. And Triana was one of the last ones we had to get approval from. So we'll be checking their Starlink account and so on, the same as everyone else. And he was saying they're become, it's really frustrating. They just want to get there. And even more than being frustrating, they're on the wrong side of this high, as we're saying. So wherever they go, they've either got no wind or slightly headwinds. The Spirit Equip is pretty much parked, 2.7 knots. And that should change a little bit going forward. So I won't go into the lead pack yet, but we'll just push this through day by day and for a couple of days and see what happens. Okay, so the center of the high is dissolving, basically. It's dissolving. So now you've really got the whole lot joining together to form one big high. And the center is below these guys. But what's it going to do? Where's it going to go? It gets very unstable at that point. But there, it's not looking too bad. You can see it dipping down. So Triana and Neptune are going to be looking a bit better than Spirit Equip because it's literally dipping in. They're dissolving. And because you had the highs together above it, there's this little low cell here. So just doing crazy stuff. It's very hard to predict. And this graphic will probably be wrong because there's really a lot of computer work there determining what might be happening rather than real-time analysis. But anyway, it moves pretty quickly into a northeasterly. So the Spirit Equip will be sailing. They'll be coming down here. Triana, Neptune, the same deal. It's all changing pretty rapidly, and it gives them a chance to stay in touch with the lead group, if nothing else. And that's a little bit more than 2 days. And you can see also up the top there's a big hole. A lot of confusion here. Hopefully, if we're really lucky, an Explorer gets a break, they'll lock onto the back of this, and Mark will probably really down south. He knows all about 40 south. They could come roaring down here and pass them all and be first back to Cape Town. I'm joking. Anyway, now this is where it gets really interesting. After what I was saying last night. The game plan is pretty much set here now for what's going to happen in the days ahead, because I did a quick analysis of this before I turned on live, and it looks like a boat will arrive sometime on Friday, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, right at the moment, this is the weather they're apparently getting. Penjuic, very happy, 9.3 knots and heading up here. You can see beelining straight to Cape Town. Spirit of Helsinki doing 8.9 knots straight to Cape Town. She's showing a distance to the finish of 647 nautical miles. Penjuic is showing 623 nautical miles, so it's 20 miles in front. And if they just both beeline, you can see what happens here. The difference is not much at all because they both head in the same direction. And so Penjuic is only 20 odd miles in front of Spirit of Helsinki if they were sailing straight lines. Translated at the back, doing 9.5, hammering along, got a more wind pressure coming off this low below them, and Maiden is holding their own, really driving hard. They've got a lot up, 9.9 knots, 220 mile day, so they're on the hammer, just following in their wake. So all interesting. So here's the deal now. What's going to happen? So just to explain again, you've got this low pressure system underneath them here, driving winds down there, and then you've got this effectively it's the part of the high that was there before, part of that trough, but this is technically a high, but it's confused because it's being affected by this little number here, the big high in the front. So the gradient is splitting there. There's just a no man's land in the middle, so that's affecting the weather, and you'll see this is going to really hump it down depending on the strength of that, depending on the strength of this high here that's looking really strong. Right, it's massive physical area going way over the Southern Ocean here. That's going to possibly give you the strong southeasterly airflow around as it goes around Cape Town. It has been a bit windy here today as well. So back to the leaders, and so you've got this little low, which will probably disappear, and you've got a high behind it. Now, the good news is it means there is a break now to get to Cape Town. There's no, it looks like they're getting out of the influence of a hole of no wind that is going to block them, maybe. So I'll just build it up so we can see it a bit more. You can see Cape Town, you got that. And I'll start pushing the weather through just very slowly. So you can see the influence is this low pressure coming up from underneath. So there's nothing stopping Penduick from going for it. But it's maybe a little bit light there for a while. This is only about 12 hours ahead. Spirit of Helsinki, nothing to stop them beelining straight for Cape Town as well, and translated and made both the same. They got plenty of breeze. They're sailing with it on the beam. And Penduick's now got it coming from astern. So there's about 24 hours now. Hang on, I'll bring it up to 24. That's around about 24 hours. Now you can see over the next 24 hours, all of that stuff's going to dissolve. That low pressure system disappears, and it's affected by the high underneath. So at the moment, that's producing a southeasterly or a southerly. No, it's a southerly. And over here, yeah, it's holding southerly. So within 24 hours, they'll be on a southerly. Again, nothing stopping them going straight for Cape Town. All four of them can go straight for it. So everything I was telling you yesterday was all out the window. So I'm saying they come down here. If they had been down here, it's pretty much the same, but you can come out of the faster angle. But 24 hours from now, they certainly haven't lucked out. No one's got a real distinct advantage. Penduick has lost a lot of ground. They were days ahead of Helsinki, and now they're only 25 miles or so behind Spirit of Helsinki. And to give you a distance on that, where will they be at the time we're looking at this weather? They're probably going to be about there somewhere. Now, if that's the same for Penduick, Spirit of Helsinki is going to be here. They may slow down in this hole, and Penduick may go over the top of it. Translated will still be boring along, so that's all fine there. Come back to the next day. Pushing through, the breeze is still solid. They're still doing 180, 200 mile days there, and it's slowly starting to swing forward of the beam now. Okay, so we're coming up to about 2 days ahead. You see, translated, they're already they got on the nose. At that point, it's really swung around. So translated will be around about here somewhere, and they're already going to windward, right? To push it through. Penduick, on the other hand, which could be 2 days ahead or close to 2 days up here, it's actually just forward of the beam. They're close reaching, which is still fast. So if we come forward to exactly 2 days away, which is about here, 8, 9, 10, yeah, that's around about there. This is what they're going to be facing about 2 days out, and I reckon that'll be about 300. They're already into it. So in 2 days, now you can see the ramifications of what's going on. This is 25, 30 knots here, and this is pushing up over 30. In fact, I'll look at that on windy later on. That could be 30, 33, 34 knots in the thick of it here. It tends to funnel through, and so they're going to get a ride. But the good news is it's southeast, and they're still coming up a little bit from the south. So it's a bit hard to say. They could be close reaching, but I think it'll be close on the nose. And in that situation, depending on where Helsinki is coming through here, they might be able to crack off a little bit more. This is where being south is a favour, because if you end up down here, there's two distinct angles. That's a better angle approaching Cape Town than if you were up here. And if they maintain their effective 25-mile distance difference, Helsinki could, and bearing in mind, even though Penduick is powerful, so is Spirit of Helsinki, especially when she's reefed down and pushing close reaching or windward, because the crew can manage it. When you've got to really use all your sail area and all that sort of stuff, it's hard for the crew. But if you tuck down to, say, the second or third reef in the main, and you've got a little staysail up or something like that, you can push hard and fast. And the boat is designed much later than Penduick. So I've got to tell you, this is still touch and go for who's going to get line on us here. You should keep buckled up, because it's going to get very interesting. I may be wrong, but it's looking like if Helsinki knows where Penduick is, it gives them a bit of an incentive. It could be really interesting to see what happens. Now, translated and so on, they're going to be lagging behind. I don't think they can catch now. The game plan is set by the weather at this point. But you've just got to look at their scenario. If we look at that, what's the distance behind Penduick at the moment? It's only 150 miles. They are well and truly, if they hold this, they are well and truly looking for favourites as IRC winner for sure. In fact, I better look at, having said that, let's look at the leaderboard on IRC and try and pick the distance, because I'm not sure how Maiden stacks up in this lot, but we'll have a look. So at the moment, time-wise, 45 days 18, 47 days 18 for Spirit of Helsinki. So 45, 18, 5, 6, 7. So 2 days. So translated is 2 days ahead of Spirit of Helsinki at the moment on IRC handicap. That's pretty much impossible for Helsinki to do anything about. And Maiden is 47, 18. So that's 2 days and 4 hours. So translated is 2 days and 4 hours ahead of Maiden, and at 48, 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, over 3 days. But basically 3 days ahead of Penjuic. So provided everything holds together and translated don't break anything or do anything, touch wood, hear that, touch wood. It looks pretty clear that translated are in a commanding position to take out the IRC trophy for this first leg, which is pretty impressive. Followed by possibly Spirit of Helsinki, and then Maiden, and then Penjuic. So all very interesting. But the big one for Penjuic is, can they take line honours? And honestly, I cannot tell you. But having said that, we've only gone through on the weather for 2 days, right? This is 2 days, and in 2 days' time, they're going to be, we'll just pick it here. I had that before. Certainly not any further than that. They wouldn't be doing, they might manage 200-mile days. So in 2 days' time, there'll be 170. Yeah, so it looks like a Friday night. Looks like a Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. Holy dooly. We got Thursday night, not Friday. Jeepers, okay, because I've got to start giving ETAs for everything that they respond on. So that's Friday, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Yes. Could be as early as Thursday night, but this is looking a bit grim maybe for the weather. We'll get rid of that. And we'll start clicking through that last day, and we'll see what the weather's like. There is still a real hole there of wind, and it's got quite a lot of easterly in it, right? So that looks like some tacking. So I would project on this, and then there's going to be very quiet. I'll just show you what happens here. There'll be calms underneath Table Mountain here. They've got a reasonable slug of easterly in this, and this is where Helsinki can optimise that, and that may well be worth 20 miles. They're currently 20 miles behind Penjuic. If they hold high and match them, and then just at the last minute pay off, they'll speed up, whereas Penjuic might even be tacking. That's the big deal about coming from the southwest. So, we still haven't gone through. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So here goes Thursday night. It's still there, starting to back off. That's cool. And it's swinging around, which may favour translated. And Maiden. So they'll hold their IRCs. But look at this, jeepers. There's a little low pressure cell forming just off the bottom here. And this is on the 20th, 16, 17, 18, 19. No, it's too far out, but that may affect translated. So some interesting times ahead. I won't show any more, but there is calms under Table Mountain here when it comes. But that's about it. So I'm just going to come back now. I don't think we've missed anyone. It's well worth watching, getting exciting. Sorry, we're not totally regular with our morning bits, but that's it. If I come back here, I can quickly check for some questions. Everyone should be in bed right now. Okay, where do we go here? Boom, that one. They should come up here. Okay. So, jeepers, Eddie's there. Okay, so question, Doc. Hi, yep. Good evening. Hi from Plymouth. John, g'day, John. Outlaw for IRC honours. Ooh, I don't know. Outlaw was a fair way down there. I forget now. I didn't look at Outlaw. I just did the top ones there. But yes, there could be. It's still interesting to watch that game plan to see how it went. Interesting watching the weather for the GGR 26. Yeah, it's Pat there. Yep. Pat's a GGR entrant for 26 and 22. Kylie, seems like the South Atlantic is spending a fair amount of time high. Yeah, true. The Irish have entered the chat. Yes. G'day. Ada, do you sleep sometimes? Yes, I do. And my nose is going off just like yours again. Incredible finish. Yes, it is. It's going to be very exciting. I can't pick it. It's interesting how you look at the situation, how I'm waffling on. Penjuic's held it all that time. They just pulling their hair out by the roots. And Philippe Pescia's on board, and Marie's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" So the pressure is on with those guys, and I'm pretty sure they're all talking on the radio. They know where everyone is, and they'll be driving hard. So the girls are made in the flying; they sure are. Probably good mood in South Africa with the rugby yesterday. It was. Ada was there representing the French in the rugby match. Went out with Jeremy with some friends to watch it, and I better not say that. I nearly said that Ada barracked for the bloody South Africans. But anyway, I nearly said it. I didn't say it. But anyway, yeah, they won. So it was quite amazing. Go Helsinki, yes. Hi from Cape Town. That's Rob. Jeepers, the team's here anyway. Yes, still in bed. Sunshine Coast, great. Okay, thanks a lot. That's it. I do have the finish slide, so we'll see you tomorrow. And I reckon it'll be another tomorrow night deal. We've got to launch our new rib tomorrow as well as everything else. So see you later.